Welcome to School Facilities and Operations Podcast. I'm Burke Jones. I'm the host, and every week we meet up here and have interesting conversations with other K 12 facilities folks, whether those are directors of operations or facility directors, whatever the local title is. That's one type of show we have. The other type of show we have is we bring on a trade partner and really ask them questions and gain from their knowledge. It's not a 30-minute sales pitch, but it's really we try to extract the knowledge they have that will help us as facilities guys be better educated in the trade and the craft that they can provide and help us with. Um, so I'm loving the show. I mean, I have learned so much over the last, I think, 10 to 12 episodes, and loving talking to everybody. I just thank everybody who's been on for giving me support and sharing their story. Everybody's got a story, so if I reach out to you or if you want to be on the show, just give me a shout and gladly have you on. So today, I'm actually joined by Brandon Chabola. He is the Penn Hills School District Director of Plant Services in Pittsburgh. So welcome, Brandon.
Thanks, Burke. Appreciate you having me on today.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to visit with us. So give us a little background on you and then tell us something about you that we can't read about on LinkedIn.
All right. Um, so I've been here at Penn Hills School District for just about a year now, but I've been in school facilities for 24 years.
Okay.
So I've been in various positions for quite a while now. Something that you wouldn't know about me from LinkedIn. A few years ago, my daughter and we got into a kick and we got into martial arts pretty heavy. And it was a blast. We did taekwondo and jujitsu, and I miss it. Now my stepson, he's 19, he's getting into it, and I think I want to get back into it.
That's fantastic. Did you guys compete and like hit real people and stuff like that?
We didn't get into competitions, but we just that class. I mean, we would do full on sparring, and it was a blast, and it was a workout like you can't believe.
Yeah, I bet.
I watch it on TV. I give MMA fighters tons of credit because just rolling around the ground for 5 minutes is exhausting.
It really is. I've never done it, but my daughter did it for a while and she competed some, and it was really funny to see these little kids out there like pummeling each other.
Yes.
Um, but it was a lot of fun to watch. My wife wasn't crazy about the competitions, but I was like, go get that girl.
Yep. Yeah. My daughter, she actually started sparring some of the guys because she was getting good enough to that point, and it
Yeah,
was funny to watch. Like some of the guys would be afraid to hit her, so they'd keep going easy on her, and it would frustrate her. So
yeah,
she'd get mad and kick him to the head or something like that, just to get him upset enough to actually go after her.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I know you said you had some projects going at some of your buildings. So how many school buildings do you guys have there?
We have 3 school buildings, and then our athletic complex. We have a football turf field, and next to it, we have a 60-yard indoor field.
Oh, wow.
So that makes a fourth building. Um,
Okay.
but just over 3,000 kids, 860,000 square feet of buildings.
Wow. Those are some big buildings then.
Yes, the high school was built in 2012. Elementary school is 2014. So those are relatively newer. And then the middle school is the old beast from 1968, and it's almost 300,000 square feet.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what do you got going on with those? You said you had a project like at the middle school going.
Yeah, we're some of the air handlers are still original. I still have the old pneumatics,
Oh,
um,
wow.
temperature controls in the building. Unfortunately, a lot of that stuff, I have so many leaks in the building, I've just shut the air compressor off, and it's full heat and it hasn't made a difference.
Yeah.
But we're replacing a lot of air handlers coming up for this summer, and then I'm updating the auditorium, doing an asbestos abatement, new flooring, new chairs, possibly some new
Okay.
house lighting. and then I'm updating the gymnasium because the bleachers are old. They didn't pass inspection, so I'm redoing those. Local electric company has some great rebates on lighting, so I'm converting to LED lighting and then refinishing the gym floor.
Well, that's going to be a great improvement. How
Yes,
old
it's
is
going to
that
be.
building?
Yeah, it's going to be great. The auditorium gets used a lot um, within the community, along with the gym. The gym's actually it's 3 full basketball courts
Oh, wow.
in it, so it's a good sized gym.
Yeah. How old is the building?
1968.
Okay. Yeah. Did it just kind of get behind on maintenance and stuff like happens or?
Yeah, and they've done a few little renovations here. They've replaced windows. I'm not sure when that was done because I've only been here for a year. And then I think 2007, they took the industrial arts wing out and made that the central admin office for the district. And a couple other little things, but not a whole lot.
Yeah. So if you've been there for a year, there's probably still like I've been at this position for 3 years and there is rooms and buildings I've never been in. So
Yes,
are you at a point now where if someone's saying it's a, it's by room such and such, you can picture that in your mind, or are you still learning?
some of the buildings I can. The high school has a weird numbering configuration, so it's hard for me to get the grasp on where room 246 is.
Yeah.
Um, but I, I was telling my superintendent the other day, it's like I'm finally a year in, I feel comfortable now where like something happens, there's no panic or anything. I know who to call, I know what's going on, and I know the process is. It's not
Yeah.
so new anymore. It's definitely been an adventure. It's been a challenge of coming in and trying to figure everything out almost from scratch.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think I would say it takes a full year, maybe 2 school years to get to where if you're in a brand new position, just to understand the flow of the district and spend enough time in buildings to really understand where things are and all of that. So on those projects, did you guys hard bid those or how did you?
We the mechanicals end and electrical, and we're doing some plumbing actually. The domestic water, we have tunnels underneath the building. The domestic water lines are still all galvanized,
Oh, wow.
and I've noticed I've had some multiple repairs done, and I've had a couple of leaks recently. So it's like let's get that updated. So a lot of that was bid out. Um, we awarded that. We just bid out the asbestos that just got awarded. The electrical ended up going through cooperative purchasing program co-stars,
Okay.
and then along with the um, bleachers and the auditorium seating, I'm going through co-stars for that as well.
Okay.
Just helps make the process a little easier. When I can, I still get multiple quotes just to keep everyone honest and make sure I'm
Right.
using taxpayer money the best way possible. And
Right.
then the lighting the gym, the rebate on them is incredible. And it was almost $200 a fixture, so it made the fixtures $20.
Wow. I've heard about these rebates from some other guys I've talked to. I feel like I need to talk to our electric company and see if there's anything we can get from that here in Kansas. So it's on my list.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a long list.
Well, you've only been there a year and you know that our lists are long. So, are you guys doing any of that work yourself? Do you have an electrician that can replace lighting, or is it all contractor based?
We do have an in-house electrician, and he's going to be doing the lighting for me, and then
Okay.
he's running the power for the bleachers as well.
Oh, fantastic. Very cool.
Yeah, it's great. I didn't have an in-house electrician in my old district, and having one here is great. And he's second shift, so the amount of work he can get done is amazing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be nice because I know our guys scramble, from like 6 in the morning till 7:30 and then do what they can during the day. But when there's kids in rooms, it's more difficult.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the interesting things we were talking a little bit about is just your career path. Um, like, how do you become a director level person of operations? there's a lot of different ways to get there. Like I was an architect for 26 years and then moved into this position. So a lot of my background, I have a general knowledge of like building systems and that kind of thing. So it plays really well. Um, but I see a lot of guys like you that have an interesting story where you just, kind of worked your tails off and had an ambition to like do something else. So let's talk about that as a career path because I think it's important if there's people listening to this and they're a custodian or an HVAC tech, like what what's that path look like to get to our kind of jobs? So,
Yes. Great question, and it's happened over many years. Um, and you said we're kind of goal driven, and I am one of those people that I've always made a goal for myself and try to hit it. But I've also had a lot of people believe in me as well and give me the support.
yep.
So 24 years ago, it all started out. I was looking for a job to provide healthcare for me because I was 19 years old and I had my daughter. I became a parent rather quickly at a young age and got into the school district. I was mowing lawns, working in the bus garage, washing buses, and helping the mechanic. I was there for in that position for 5 years. Daytime custodial position opened up. I bid on that and got it, and that was actually rather short lived. I think it was only about 4 months I had that position, where a maintenance position opened up, and at the time at that is Girard School District up in Erie, PA. They didn't have an actual HVAC tech or electrician. The maintenance position was a jack of all, master of none. So they worked on HVAC, kitchen equipment, plumbing, carpenter. I mean, we did it all. So part of the position required your HVAC certification. So I went to the local Votech doing night classes for residential and commercial HVAC, industrial electricity. Took me, I think, 2 years to get all that done. And then when we had something we couldn't repair in house, I had another maintenance person working with me that had a lot more years experience. So I shadowed with him, or if we had contractors in, I was shadowing them, asking questions, learning as much as I could.
So did you
And
pay
then
for that? Did you pay for that education yourself, or did the district help it off with that?
the district actually reimbursed me for it all,
What?
as long as it pertained to my job position. We were a union district, a union
Okay,
department, and as long as it pertained to my district, they paid for it.
that's fantastic.
Yes, that was great. And if anyone has that opportunity, I highly suggest that they take it. So I don't know how many years I was in the maintenance position, and I had the superintendent approach me saying that a local college was opening up a campus in the Girard area. And he said they're going to have a facility management associate's degree. And he goes, I think you should look into that.
Huh.
And it's like, okay, let me look into it. So I did. I filled out the paperwork. The school district approved it. And 2.5, 3 years later, I walked out with my associate's degree.
So why do you think that superintendent kind of took you under their wing and suggested that?
Um, well, hoping he saw something in me, whether it was my drive and always trying to keep up on things and keep them from becoming a headache, or as we put it, a big fire that we got to put out, being reactive. Um,
Did you report directly to that person, or was there another director in between them?
Actually, my direct report was the superintendent.
Okay, okay.
It was rather small districts. We didn't have that many department heads.
And I think the reason I asked that question is that as directors, like I think it's important for us to keep an eye out for people that need a hand up or some motivation to like have someone believe in them. Like
Yes,
that superintendent believed in you and encouraged you to do that. And I think sometimes we just get so busy day to day that we're like, I don't have time to like invest as much as I want in my people and that kind of thing. But it can truly be life changing for people if we take that time.
yes. It's I definitely have recognized that, and I fully appreciate it. Because I ended up going, I knew a lot of districts in my area and all over, and they want at least a bachelor's degree.
Right.
So I went back and got my bachelor's degree in business admin. And I knew I wanted to be able to learn the financial end of things better.
Right.
And then also knew my current at that time we did get a maintenance supervisor. And I knew he was retiring soon, and I was hoping to be able to fill those shoes.
Oh, fantastic.
So when he retired, I interviewed at George School District where I was at, and I got the position in July of 2016.
That's exciting.
And I've been a supervisor ever since. And I came down here to Pittsburgh actually a year ago in January of 2022.
So was it challenging to move from like the tech role to a supervisor role?
Yes, I think the biggest challenge I had is, like as mentioned, we were union. So at the time when I was in the maintenance position, I was also a union rep. I've helped
Okay.
negotiate a couple contracts and stuff, and then I flipped over to the management side. Um, I realized how the management side can be lonely because all my friends that were coworkers weren't weren't really as we weren't as close friends anymore. We were button heads because of me being on the other side.
Right.
Um, I had a lot
So,
of conversations where people would think, "Well, I forget where you come from, and you were
uh,
in our shoes. Why aren't you supporting us?" And it really wasn't the case at all. I was supporting them, but I also had a bigger picture. I saw the other side now and the things you had to deal with, contend with on that as well.
right.
And
So
that was
for
a
those of us we live in Kansas, unions are not a big thing here. So so is management not in the union?
correct. Yes,
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So you're like negotiating on the other side of the table. You're you're not a part of that group anymore.
correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I had to leave the union to take the management position.
Okay. I bet those were some tough conversations when you've been friends with people and then it it flips that way.
It was. It was very challenging. It took a couple years and still have um, good connections with um, some the coworkers now. But I quickly learned that like you can't really go out and have dinner or drinks with them like you used to. It's a tough line that you don't want to cross because if it ever comes down to like discipline or stuff, it just doesn't go well.
Yeah. I think that's a tough one. Even, I mean, we're not union, but um, it is always a line you walk because we make friends at work, but yet in a supervisor role, there's still a job to do.
Yeah.
And I think those are tough relationships. I think for all of us to kind of manage. Um, so I guess in your day to day life, do you look for other people like that you could encourage? You could, based on your path and the leadership that was shown to you.
Um, Actually, I do. I there's actually a coworker that I used to work with at Gerard. I still keep in contact with him, and he's recently become a union rep there now. And I've kind of supported him in that role. He wasn't too sure if he wanted to do it or not. And, he's always been a good worker, and he always he cares about people
Yeah,
and he cares about the community and the kids and stuff. I said, like, your heart's in the right place. It's like just because you might get some flack from people because something might not go exactly as they wanted, you're still doing what's right. I said, so
right.
like be in that position where you can help make a difference.
I think what
So
you said right there is so interesting as I move from like the private sector to working for the schools is that a huge part of my joy at this job, which was totally unexpected. Like I didn't understand what it would mean, but it really is support. Like everything we do supports the students. and it's like so fun to walk through schools and see the kids in there, and they say hi to you, and it.
Yeah.
I think I didn't understand that that's what I would feel when I started this job, but I think people that work in schools totally understand that job. I mean, that aspect of the job, like our custodians do, our maintenance guys do, and it's fun to hear people talk like that instead of being constantly like profit driven, I guess. You know,
Yes. It is a big change. Um, I guess it would be from the private sector. I've I've been in it for so long, it's kind of like second nature, but and I've been lucky enough to be able to be involved with like some of the life skills programs that we
oh
have
wow,
for this like special needs kids. They might want to try and do something extra. Or like here, they have a greenhouse at the high school. So I'm trying to find ways to be able to help assist with them. At my old district, we had a student that was um, not performing very well, not always attending school very much, and we ended up um, having him kind of help the daytime custodians in the high school. And he really grew a liking to him, where his attendance improved and his grades were improving. And he graduated, and I hired him on as a part-time custodian.
that's
He's a
fantastic.
great worker. So it's being able to help kids like that, and then like if he stays in the school district with the state pension and stuff, great health care, and the kid's set for life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
So what did you do in the
it's
life skills with the life skills group?
what's that?
What did you do with the life skills group when you worked with them?
Well, is that kid I was talking about? He was in the life
Okay.
skills group. So being able to help them, or um, they would do different like food drives throughout the school year. So we'd always help them with whatever they needed, or they would do um, luncheons for the faculty, and we're assisting with that, or like the garden here at the high school, they have that garden. So he's trying to get power to the greenhouse to be able to have a heat and a fan in it. So we're trying to see how we can make that dream come alive for him.
That's super cool. I think it's those fun little side things that we get to be involved with that um, make the job really cool.
Yes.
So, so talk a little bit about like I know you mentioned that your ASBO group has been kind of instrumental in some of your growth and development. So, talk a little bit about that.
Yes, it's here. It's PASBO, Pennsylvania
Okay.
Association for School Business Officials. Um, Wayne McCullough was the director of PASBO, and he was a former facility director. And he's really strived to push to make the facility director position recognized within public ed as a professional position, because some people don't necessarily see or know the value of it.
Right.
So he's really pushed hard on that. Him and a lot of other facility directors have helped with training provided through PASBO um, in the facility management realm, and I've attended a lot of those annual conference. There's a lot of stuff that's been geared towards facility management. They actually created a facility management professional certification
Oh, okay.
for the state of Pennsylvania, and it's just I've just my years in the schools, I've seen his work and all the support he's had through PASBO actually help grow the profession. And I'm definitely grateful for that. And now he's retired. Um, One of my dreams down the road would be just to help continue um, further that, um,
Right.
continue that drive, so everyone sees us as a recognized profession, sees the value of having it in all school districts. I mean, with none of these codes that we have to follow are getting easier. All the
Right.
regulations that we follow, it's time consuming, and we got to stay on top of it. So I want
Yeah.
to.
I've seen some other states have like a state certification for facilities, like kind of on the school side. So how does that work? Is it like a process you can go through while you're working, or do they require it before you take the job kind of thing?
Um, I think it varies to whatever the school districts want to require and their requirements. But for the certification for facilities management here, um, it, online courses, um, daytime webinars. I had to get so many credits to
Okay.
apply for the certification, and it took me, I think, almost 3 years to get it.
Wow. So what kind of things do they go through?
Um, every aspect of school business. There was finance classes, there was budgeting, there was a school code. Had one just on all your state building inspection requirements and stuff that's recommended,
Right.
good facility practices, uh, preventive maintenance, um, learn how to just develop a budget and try and stay within a budget, long-term capital planning. And it really helps set you up for success.
Yeah, it
And
sure does.
it was good. One of the most challenging ones was probably the finance course, because it really dove deep into the school budgeting, and there's a lot of business managers that were in that course because they were trying to get their business management certificate. And
Okay.
I struggled in that one a little bit.
So is there like a quiz or a test at the end of each unit or?
Yes, with being online, it's kind of like any other online courses now, where you have weekly assignments, you discuss them in um, forums amongst your classmates, and then there'll either be a test every so often, or and then a final one at the end of the course, and
Huh,
you have to get a passing grade.
that's really fascinating. So are they live or is it recorded at this point, like the teaching
Um,
part?
it varied. Some of it was just kind of like using Blackboard or something like that, like what we use for public ed for
Uh-huh.
students. Um, assignments are on there, and you know to do them. But then you also had times where we all got on virtual live, just Zoom or Teams meetings, and discuss things and listen to presentations from the teacher.
Okay. Well, that's fascinating to me because I think it really does elevate the profession when people go through a similar curriculum and you get some training because like yeah, I don't totally understand budget, like how school finance works. Um, I mean, I have to formulate my own budgets and stuff, but I don't understand exactly where all that money comes from, or and how
Yeah.
it gets divided up and that kind of thing. So that would be good to know more about. Um, so, do you have a group of other facilities guys that you keep in contact with in the area, or is it pretty much kind of like through at PASBO or?
There's a couple guys I knew down here from moving down here. I knew they were down here. And then we do have local chapters amongst PASBO, and we
Okay,
have it's Western Facility Director Association here in Pittsburgh. And there's a little over 100 school districts that are a part of it or can be a part of it. And we've I've become an officer for the chapter, um, just to help. We have meetings every other month, and we always try to have it's a formal meeting. We'll vote on things when it comes time, general discussion, roundtable discussion, but then we also ask vendors to be a part of the group as well. And we ask for um, like professional development presentations from the vendors.
oh, cool.
We don't allow them to be a sales pitch. They can't be selling their product, but they can give us information in general about their product. And it's invaluable. We have one upcoming here in February, and it's going to be on asbestos
Oh,
and how
cool.
the abatement program the HERA program we have to follow in schools.
Right.
Just most people you would think know it, but some might not.
Yeah. Or even if you know it, there's probably some little piece of it you didn't know, you know,
Yes.
that, that kind of thing.
Yep. It's always good to have that refresher.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons I started this podcast is I wanted to meet other people like that are doing this job. And it's fascinating to me. Like already, some of the guys I've talked to, we've we've been able to share some information already, like offline. Like we can email each other now and have a relationship that way. I know Missouri, they just passed a law about lead content in water in schools, and so all of Missouri's having to do um, lead testing. I think by next year or something, and we just went through that process here because we got a grant from the EPA, the state of Kansas did, to test water in schools, and so we've just went through that. And so I was talking to one of the Missouri guys, and I shared some of that information about some lessons learned and that kind of thing. And so I think it's just fascinating how fast a network can kind of spread out, and you have a lot of contacts. And um, heck, maybe we'll start at some point a little email group um, that everybody can sign up to, and we can all share information on that or something. So
Oh, that'd be
I don't
awesome.
know. Yeah, I think it would be cool. Well, anything else you want to cover off today? I really like this idea we talked about, that there's a career path in the education system in the facilities sector, if that's what you want. And I think it's important for us to remember as leaders to encourage that growth among the people that would like to have that opportunity. So,
Ab- Absolutely. I'm a huge proponent of that. I've looked at my department as I get to know everybody better, and I want to try and make sure they're happy where they're at, or if
right.
they're striving to be into a different position. All right, how can I help you get there?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just so important. Um, someone said to me, like I was talking about just hiring staff, and we are in a unique position where we could almost grow our own HVAC techs or our own welder or our own electrician by working with the high school kids in some role, and then getting them education and then bringing them into the department. So we're looking at that here, as well as custodial positions, kind of like the story you told.
Yeah,
um, I know we've made a couple offers to some high school kids that were looking for a 4-hour job every night, and so we're looking that way as well, just to try to home grow some of our own staff, I guess you could say. So,
awesome. Yeah, that's great. I remember here in a local district around me, they have kids helping with the IT department.
oh, that's a
Like,
perfect job for those kids.
yes, and like they've trained them, like they have their own call center. Like, so if you call the IT department, you're getting a high school kid answering the phone. You're
That is,
taking all the information, and then with being one to one now, I mean, there's millions of computers. I mean, they
yeah,
schools can have thousands of them. So to keep up with that workload, they've taught the kids how to do some of the simple repairs on Chromebooks or whatever they have, and it's helped them out great. I said, to me, like that's awesome.
that is awesome. I know a guy in Utah, and he has 120 part-time student custodians.
Wow.
I'm trying to think about how you would manage that, but it's a very successful program for him, um, with a lot of part-time workers. So it's interesting. There's a million ways to get staff, um, when you start thinking really creative about it. But okay, so I end every episode with 3 questions. Same 3 questions for everybody. So, how would your parents or your family describe what your job is?
Um, some of my family, they would say I'm a custodian at a school district because they don't fully understand what I do.
Right.
And then others would say that he wears 100 different hats because he oversee deals with so much stuff.
Yeah.
And he puts in way too many hours. But that goes with the position.
It really does. You're never truly off work in this position.
No,
Do you use paper, or are you a digital guy for planning things?
I'm a digital guy. I don't like carrying a notebook with me. I always have
Yeah.
my cell phone with me, so I take notes on that. and I just recently started using. I used it before for something else, and I just got it back for this is a program called Evernote.
Yes, I've used Evernote.
It's great for taking notes, and the tags that you can tag stuff with is the best I've seen.
Yeah. I just started using a new app called Notion, and it's very flexible. It's to-do list, it's note taking. Um, but the cool thing about it is it's on my phone, it's on my iPad, it's on my MacBook, and so it syncs everywhere. So wherever I am, if I take notes on a phone conversation, I can have it on my phone when I'm out in the field or whatever. So I'm digital.
Awesome.
Um, what uh, what time of day do you do your best work?
In the morning, I'm
Are you
I'm an
like,
early riser. I'm
yeah,
normally always in the work by 7, and it's still quiet. The my daytime crew in the morning, they have their assignments, they know what they're doing, so they're all busy, and I can get from 7 to 9, I think I can always get a lot of stuff accomplished.
yep. Yeah, I get my important work done in the morning myself. So I'm not an early riser, but I'm a 7:30, 7:45 arrive at work kind of guy, but I try to knock out important things in the morning. Or sometimes at the end of the day when all the staff leaves the school buildings, the phones quit ringing and it gets quieter. So,
Yes, I'll agree with that.
yeah,
I'm
it's
normally
an
trying to wrap
interesting,
stuff up then and
yeah. Well,
close
hey,
up some of
Brandon,
the
thanks so
open.
much for coming on with us and spending some time. I really appreciate it. If people want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to find you?
Uh, best way to find me is I'll probably give you my personal email address. It's
Okay,
Brandon Chabola at gmail.com.
okay,
And Chabola is Chabola. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out. I would love to help however I can. And if I don't know the answer, I'll tell you, but I'll do my best to reach out to find people that do.
sounds good.
That's one thing in our profession. We'll never know everything, but the key is knowing people that do.
Yep, that's exactly right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know I got a lot out of just this thinking about career growth and making sure that I'm thinking about opportunities for people that want them. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Burke. Appreciate you having me on today.
Have a good week.
Thank you too.